Hi guys, I just want to share with you what I learned this week reading chapters 4 through 7. For chapter 4, I thought the key concept was getting to know your audience so that you can better prepare your speech revolved around them. I knew most of the material that we covered in this chapter, but I liked the way the book chose to use politicians as an example. I think you can learn a lot about someone in politics if you view their speeches from one city to the next as they try to appeal to each demographic. I think that this chapter was important because knowing your audience potentially can change the outcome of the message that you deliver. Like it can make it either less or more effective depending on who you target and what you say. You can use this in real life, potentially in an interview. You can research your company and you can research if you can even find out who your interviewer is. You can target what you say based around them and you can show them that you have put in extra effort in researching their company, and that will put you a leg ahead of all the other participants. For chapter 5, I thought the key ideas were discussing the purpose of giving various speeches and why you would want to give them and what you should, like what the differences are and what you should do differently per each speech. I did not know that relaxed grammar shouldn't be used in speeches. I guess this isn't really slang, but it could be like using the word lousy. I guess there are different interpretations of that word, and that's not really something I ever thought about. And Southerners, we also have a different dialect, so I really found that interesting that we do stuff like that because we have our own sayings and our own words that aren't the same. So you always want to make sure that you're clear for your audience so that they don't interpret something that you want to be said one way and they take it a different way. You can use this anywhere really in life. Like I was talking about, anyone that you talk to, if you're talking to someone who's not from here, you don't want to use words that may be interpreted in a different manner than what you meant them to be interpreted as. For chapter 6, I thought the key ideas were outlining your speech and sticking to specific patterns. I didn't know. The book gave a lot of good tips about being your own coach, and I never really thought about that. It's not like that I didn't know, but I never really thought about that. So whenever you write your note cards, you can leave like little tips on there that says like, make eye contact here, stuff like that. I thought that was really interesting and a really good tip that the book gives. This can be used anywhere throughout your college classes, or if you have to like present to someone. Outlining is really important, and I believe that when you give a speech, you should focus more on the outline, and you can try to remember that versus trying to memorize word for word, because I just gave my informative speech and I think I made the mistake of trying to memorize word for word, and it wasn't as effective, I believe, as if I just tried to memorize the outline and tried to go with the flow and then fill in the information as I went. For chapter 7, I think the key ideas were making sure that you properly support your speech, because you don't want to use bias or untrustworthy sources to back your speech up, because this will make the speaker look untrustworthy or lazy, like they're too lazy to do the research. I really like the book's use of leading questions. This is something that I didn't really know about the concept of. But now that I do know about it, I think I see it a lot in politics, on the news and stuff like that, where people ask questions, or even in a courtroom, people will ask questions to someone, but it will be so leading, and so the answer that the person gives will be the answer that the person wanted them to give. Like if you ask some, like on the stand, you see they'll like lead the question to get the answer that they want instead of letting the person answer honestly the way that they want to. So I think that's a big thing, and I think that that's not something that you should do in interviews, because it makes it seem like you're biased and you're not letting the real truth come out, only part of it, the part that makes you seem better. I don't think that that's a good concept that should be used, but now that I'm aware of it, I can definitely see where people do use it a lot. I think finding the right sources can be used a lot in any aspect of life, because even if you're not doing this for a debate or a paper or something, you don't want like your political views, if you like get in an argument to someone about it, you don't want to be sourcing like fake news or just untrustworthy sites, because it just damages your credibility as a speaker and as a person. You always just want to make sure that you are completely trustworthy and you know what you're talking about. And it doesn't hurt to make sure that you have all your information. So doing a little extra research doesn't ever hurt anyone. So that's what I thought about chapters 4 through 7. I'm excited to hear what you guys thought.